I don't know if maybe I should save Lights, Camera, Jackson for a different day. I think I just clicked on this video once and I found it funny. Can you smell what LCJ is cooking? That was the video. He posted it to his main channel. Lights, Camera, Jackson is a child that grew into an adult but remained the same. Damn, nothing past 100,000 views on his entire channel. So he essentially got mainstream media attention by being a child prodigy. Is it Prodigy or Prodigy? Prodigy? I never know how to say that word. What do you have to say about Sarah Palin?
Hiya! Since I resigned from office, I'm having fun shooting with guns. Pew, pew, pew! I can still see Russia from my house.
Okay. So he, interviews Jane Lynch as a child. So he got mainstream media attention for being a child movie critic by essentially just absorbing what the idea of being a movie critic is from very mainstream sources and then parroting that and just being a reflective, just essentially just doing the thing without any real, anybody can be a critic. I believe that firmly. It seems like what he is what his idea of what a critic is supposed to be, if that makes sense. Gotta watch this video. What is it, Lights, Camera, Jackson?
On the first.
Oh my god. I'll watch that in a second.
Camera Jackson, I'm here with actress and comedian Jane Lynch. Jane, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled.
Yes, so I'm a movie critic.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite all-time movies?
Let's see. I liked Private Benjamin with Goldie Hawn and Eileen Brennan. I thought it was a revelation in that. That's like my favorite movie. I liked Ninotchka with Greg Garbo, going way back before even I was born. And recently, I thought Precious was amazing.
Yeah, that could get some Oscar nominations.
I think it will. It has it, yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of movies, you've been in a lot of movies, especially.
There's something about the child nature of this where it's like the fakeness comes off so much more. But there's a lot of adults that act this exact same way. Oh, absolutely. It's getting a lot of Oscar buzz.
With Christopher Guest and that gang and several. It's always probably so much fun.
It is. Yes.
Are you doing more?
Thanks for the sub, Lord Deathman.
Not that I know, but every time we get together, and I just did a commercial that Christopher directed. He directs a commercial every now and again.
Oh my god. Did somebody give a bunch of gift subs? Oh, thank you, Jamie Justice, for all the gift subs.
And, for Healthy Choice with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, not to brag, but that's who I work with. And so I see him from time to time, but I don't know about a movie. But
like, I don't even believe that laugh is real, right? Like, it's everything. It's such a weird existence.
For Healthy Choice with Julia Louis-Dreyfus, not to brag, but that's who I work with. And
it's like it's the image, like there's no soul. Like he's just imitating what other people have done and doing what he thinks he's supposed to be doing. And, you could argue everybody is doing that to some extent, to some degree. But the way it shows with Lights, Camera, Jackson has always been fascinating.
So I see him from time to time, but I don't know about a movie. But every time we get together to work together, it's like old home week, and we all get along. We like each other very much, and it's always a lot.
Do you think his parents fed him, like, just constant, like, Richard Roper or something? Like,
Absolutely. And you've done some voice work as well.
Yeah.
In Space Chimps and Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, and including
Google.
Shrek.
Shrek 4, yeah.
Shrek Forever. Yeah.
like these laughs are fake. It's crazy. Do you think he got whipped? Do you think he got punished if he didn't do this? Like, who's behind the camera?
Dinosaurs, and including
Google.
Shrek.
Shrek 4, yeah.
Shrek Forever After.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know who you play?
Yes, I do. I've had like 4 or 5 sessions. I play a character named Wretched, and
Warden.
the kids, the other chipmunk.
What do you hope to do?
No, and they were
That laugh was the most fake.
just like little drawings.
Right.
And I was like, they're so little.
What do you hope to do in the future?
That's a very
The way the laugh like immediately disappears. Yes, I'm judging a child in this way, but I'm judging their parents more harshly.
They were just like little drawings.
Right.
And I was like, they're so little.
What do you hope to do in the future?
That's a very good question, Jackson. I have kind of...
It's such a performance. It's so weird. It's so bizarre. And then he continued doing it, as an adult, and has nobody watching him. But he's a certified critic on Rotten Tomatoes, right? Like he's a certified, I think he's in the Critics Guild or whatever the fuck that is. Let's see his most recent video.
Somebody went around yesterday on social media was like, "Oh, you hate movies." No, I don't hate movies. There's 4 or 5 films out in theaters right now that I don't.
What's a microphone?
But there's a lot of good films out as well. You just gotta find them. Sometimes the indie gems are better than the big studio releases. Yeah, Civil War is not a good film. Challengers is not a good film. Godzilla X
Well, I want to see his Challengers review.
Kong is disappointing. Unsung Hero, which we'll talk about in a minute, is not a good film. Ghostbusters was disappointing, but there are good films in theaters. There are good films on streaming services. Dune Part 2 is excellent. Spy X Family Code White is very entertaining. You have to
Spy X Family Code White.
give it a chance. The Steve Martin Part 1 documentary that's on Apple is excellent. The Bon Jovi 4-part documentary on Hulu is fantastic. Jean du Barry, which opens this week with Johnny Depp, new French film, is terrific. It's one of the best movies I have seen this year. And Mars Express, which opens this week, is unique and sophisticated science fiction animation for adults. Give it a chance.
I'm excited for Mars Express.
See, sometimes you just gotta find them, and that's one of the beauties of film criticism as well, is not just, oh, we can blast movies, it's also to recommend movies to people.
What's his main platform? Because a lot of things that I see on this seem like snippets. So he interviews a lot of filmmakers. I want to see his review on Challengers. Lights, Camera, Barstool? So that's not him. So he doesn't have a Challengers review on his channel. Does he do things outside of YouTube? All right, here we go. What? Oh my god, this website's worse than mine. What the fuck's going on here? All right, Challengers. Challengers is directed by Luca Guadagnino of Call Me By Your Name, Bones and All, and the recent Salvatore Ferragamo documentary. It was originally supposed to open last September. Then Amazon MGM. Okay, so we're doing the thing. At the time, I thought it was because one of the two things, the strike's going on, or the film isn't very good. More prominently, it's the second reason. Oh, the film isn't very good. Okay? Amazon MGM pushed it because it wasn't very good, according to LCJ. Zendaya stars, blah, 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 blah. Early on, we're just doing the thing where we describe the plot. Do you want to tell us anything about what you think about it? Okay, we're 2 out of 5 paragraphs in. You're just describing the plot. Love it. The only legitimate aspect of Challengers that works is showing how self-important that these three characters think they are. But for the audience, if we want to invest ourselves in them for 2 hours and 11 minutes, it's very difficult, along with this being a tennis movie in which Guadagnino and writer Justin Kuritzkis prove they don't know how to properly portray the sport. All the points go on way too long. Every time a character gets angry, they simply smash a racket. I don't know if that's true. The attendees of the matches bob their heads back and forth in a goofy, synchronized fashion. Perhaps there's a thematic reason for that, Jackson. And it's very unrealistic to have a game that's all about agility and speed be shown so often in slow motion. It's unrealistic for it to be shown. It's unrealistic. That's a funny fucking line. It's unrealistic to have a game that's all about agility and speed be shown so often in slow motion. Man, this is why a lot of people watch YouTube critics. Like, so many fucking print media critics are exactly like this. He's literally just parroting all these other people. He's not very different. I've read a lot of I love a lot about Roger Ebert, but I've read some of his really weak reviews. Some of them are really not substantive. Don't know what Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross were thinking with the techno score, except it was a forceful way to get emotion and intensity out of the audience. Very manipulative. Okay. The dialogue is flim-flam. The characters are one-dimensional. The performances are borderline embarrassing. Wow. The timeline bouncing around so much doesn't make for a smooth viewing experience. I wonder if there's a thematic reason for that, Jackson. And then we get behind to the third act with the worst windstorm of all time in New Rochelle. And yet our three leads are oblivious to it. What? What do you mean oblivious to it? It's a major part of the movie. Terrible soap opera, ridiculous sports movie, double fault. D. This is this website's fucking insane. This is like straight out of 1995. So what I'm curious about is like he's doing this for a living, right? How does he make money? Because nobody's watching his YouTube channel, nobody's following his website. Is he literally just like trust fund baby? His parents, like, I mean, obviously if he's doing the whole like media tour at age 10, his parents probably have some money, right? Here's a more concise review. I've been playing tennis for 17 years. It's a fast-paced game. To see slow motion used so prominently in challengers was frustrating, along with the techno music, flimsy dialogue, and outrageous New Rochelle windstorm. Terrible soap opera, ridiculous sports movie, double fault. How come it doesn't let me see the ratio of how... Okay, most of these are quotes, right? Emmy-winning film critic. Video unavailable. Jackson wins Emmy. It's private. So... in 2010, he became the youngest person to win a New York Emmy Award for his on-air movie reviews on Time Warner TV station Capital News 9. How old was he? So he was born in 1998, 25 years old. In 2010, he was 12? So he won a New York Emmy at the age of 12? Okay. For his reviews. Gar Furiosa is the next Barbenheimer. Oh, I'm sure it will. Oh, I'm sure we're going to see so many people fucking showing up to the theaters. Everybody that watches fucking Furiosa is going to have a Garfield fursuit on. Yeah, okay. All right.
I'm feeling that the Garfield movie is going to be the biggest film of May.
Of the whole month, you think Garfield's the biggest one?
It's going to make more money than Apes. It's going to make more money than Fall Guy. I think families are craving content more than ever. And the Garfield brand has been so strong. This character is beloved by generations. It's kind of like the Peanuts movie. It's kind of like some of these other brands that have come back.
See, that's why I feel like Furiosa maybe is going to be the biggest movie of May, just because it's got a little bit, it's kind of like what you're saying with a built-in audience. Fury Road was so big. People are ready for that one. Trailer was kind of cool and kind of not. You know, it was like a cool, fun trailer, but the effects didn't quite look great. I've heard that they've gone to work on those since the trailer. So that one is where I'm leaning more towards. If I was to say, what's the biggest movie in May? I think that one's got a real shot.
That's a bad.
I love how this guy's talking to him like a child. I don't know. Who's Jason Black?
Those since the trailer. So that one is where I'm leaning more towards. If I was to say, what's the biggest movie in May? I think that one's got a real shot.
He's literally talking to him as if he's still a child. He's 25, though.
That's a battle for Memorial Day weekend is Furiosa versus Garfield. And maybe it's a Garfuriosa. It's like a Barbenheimer combo.
Oh, my gosh. Where do you come up with this stuff?
He doesn't even understand that the other person in the interview is just being entirely patronizing. And he uploaded that. Like the other guy's literally just like, yeah, wow, really, really interesting stuff you're saying. That's fucking hilarious. So yeah, what did you get? What's his 2010 demo? This is when he won his Emmy, is in 2010.
On the official Kid Crick report card, Clash of the Titans gets an F. There wasn't a single good thing about this movie. Whether you see it in 2D or 3D, this film can be summed up in 1D. Disaster.
I did lose a tooth recently, right?
Do you think his parents read that shit when he was younger or what? Like it's so fake. It's so weird.
are here, and but
the Rock will visit you.
Yeah, the tooth fairy came, but it didn't look anything like.
It's interesting about child prodigies. You bloom early, and then you kind of stay the same, and then your life is much worse after.
Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You were on As the World Turns.
I know, he hasn't changed. He, like, literally since the age of 10, he hasn't changed at all. It's very upsetting.
Many years and won a Soap Opera Digest award. What do you feel As the World Turns just got canceled? Does that break your heart? Did it break your heart when you heard the news?
It does a little bit. It's been, I spent a lot of my 20s on that show, and it's been nice over the years to just know I could flip it on and see a lot of familiar faces.
How to Train Your Dragon gets a B+, by far the best family film of the year so far, and it's rated PG for just some action.
You have a demo reel. This is a demo reel. Are you trying to, like, pitch this to a network?
Violence and some brief mild language is appropriate for pretty much everybody, and I think kids and even the adults and older kids will like the story, the animation, the cute dragons, and the action scenes. What do you hope to do in the future?
Well, I'm going to continue for a couple more years. I'm going to do the show until you get ready to replace me. And then when you are ready, just give me a little...
So how did he get all this access as a fucking 10-year-old? Like, clearly his parents are some people, right? Clearly his parents are people, right?
Little sign and I'll say goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Regents.
Parents, you have to think about this, where they might go in and say, this is going to be a cute film about kids and God, but it's not. It's very serious, very sad, very emotional, and it's appropriate for older kids, but if they and even adults have dealt with this subject matter in real life, it's definitely not for them. Now, you've had your Oscar for a long time, 40 years, and you've been on so many award shows presenting and winning. Where is that Oscar, and is it still in good shape?
Yeah, it's in great shape.
Yeah.
It's in great shape.
I heard you were here, and you don't even want to see us. You just want to see Larry.
I don't know if I'm going to get over this. This is...
A lot of this is just showing how much access he has, right?
During the entire film, there's too much slapstick, too much involving animals pee and poop, and humans pee and poop. There's just too much of that. Too many scenes involving Fraser's private parts. I don't get why studio people think this stuff is funny.
I do a song, and with Kurt and Mercedes, and Lights Action Jackson, and whatever your thing is, but your name's Jackson, and that's all I need to know.
I honestly think Avatar won't win the Best Picture.
They put him on Fox News.
Because I just don't think it didn't get any nominations for writing and acting, and I don't think the Academy will choose that just for all those effects, which is it's probably sure to win for all those effects awards. But I think The Hurt Locker will win for Best Picture. Of course, Up should win. It's only the second animated film ever to be nominated.
Hurt Locker did win.
For Best Picture. The other was Beauty and the Beast, one of my favorites. I think it should win, but The Hurt Locker will take it home.
Wow.
Iron Man 2 is rated PG-13 for all the sci-fi action violence. And
It's funny hearing a critic's perspective of someone that's not allowed into half of the movies without an adult.
some brief language. It's appropriate for kids 9 and up, and if you're a big fan of the original, I think you're going to like this one as well.
Quickly, your
Yeah, did he watch The Hurt Locker?
official grade.
On the official Kid Critic report card, Iron Man 2 gets a B, better than the first film, and I think it's not perfect film, but a great way to start the summer movie season. Hi, I'm Lights Camera Jackson. I'm on the set of the new movie Salt, starring Angelina.
Why are you on the set of the new movie Salt starring Angelina Jolie? Like, who got you there?
Jolie and Liev Schreiber. Hi, I'm Lights Camera Jackson in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. We're right in front of the Sony Pictures Entertainment Gate.
Like, the voice he's putting on is so fake, too.
Where they made Julie and Julia, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and Planet 51.
Kid critic who's transformed himself today into Lights Camera Jonas.
Yes, Lights Camera Jonas.
The new Jonas brother.
Yes.
Before we get into the
Thank you,
are
Tim.
they known for their glasses and hats?
Yes.
I don't know a lot about the
especially
Jonas
in the
brothers.
concert, yes.
I'm too old for the Jonas brothers.
I think
so
you
don't
are,
really
yes.
think so. But I want to, before...
Well, Larry the Cable Guy, thank you very much. Look for him in Cars 2 coming out next
That's
year.
right. Boy, we're going to be happier than a tornado in a trailer park.
Yeah, I'm Lights Camera Jackson, your kid critic.
Get her done.
Get her done. And I would like to thank
This is him winning his Emmy!
people who really inspired me.
to do what I do today.
Roger Ebert?
Film critic Roger Ebert.
Knew it.
And talk show, game shows, entertainment personality Regis Philbin. They're playing the music. Thank you very much. Good night!
Imagine fully forming at the age of 10 and then never changing for the rest of your life. Imagine peaking at 10 and then never changing ever. All right, we're going to watch this one.
First day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
Up on DVD. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Letters to God and Despicable Me on Blu-ray and DVD. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Midnight in Paris, Romeo and Juliet, and The Help on DVD.
He loves gnome and troll movies. He loves the troll movies a lot. The Trolls musical movies.
On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Act Up.
I'm getting some real Mormon vibes from him. Is he Mormon?
Valor Seeking a Friend, The Grey with Liam Neeson, and Ted Blu-ray combo pack.
None of these are opened.
On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
It's funny how as time progresses, his audio quality gets worse.
The Great Gatsby, the way back stories we tell 42, and Mud with Matthew McConaughey. On the sixth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Garfield Holiday Collection, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Alive Inside, Edge of Tomorrow, The Fault in Our Stars, and Chef on DVD. On the seventh day of Christmas, my true love gave to me.
It's incredible that something that he started when he was like 10, he decided to continue into being an adult and just kept with it. It's like, yeah, this is still a good idea. He hasn't changed. He's like the same person. He's literally the same person as he was when he was 10.
To me, Ricky and the Flash, Shaun the Sheep movie, Mad Max, Fury Road, Jurassic World, Furious 7, Pitch Perfect 2, and Cinderella on DVD.
He's holding up a lot of movies that I wouldn't fucking dare own. He's holding up a lot of movies that are just really bad.
On the eighth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Open Season, Scared Silly, Central Intelligence, The Nice Guys, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, Hail Caesar.
He does this weird thing with his mouth where he's like trying... The smile is grafted, but he's trying to like make the O sound. But he's trying to smile the entire... It's like he's got a gun to his head. And someone's telling him like, if you stop smiling, you're fucking done. But you got to sing this song.
Silly, Central Intelligence, The Nice Guys, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
There's something terrifying about this.
Hail Caesar, Zootopia, Swiss Army Man, and The Boss on DVD and Blu-ray. On the ninth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Smurfs, The Lost Village, Landline with Jenny Slate, American Assassin, Victoria and Abdul.
Maybe his parents are still controlling everything behind the scenes, even though he's 25 years old now.
Emoji Movie. Atomic Blonde, The Lost City of Z, Ingrid Goes West, and Get Out.
Because he can't possibly be making money off of what he's doing. He can't, like, no, literally zero people. The only people watching him are people like me doing this. Just being like, wow, what a fascinating monstrosity.
On DVD. On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me animated holiday special, Sorry to Bother You, Woody Woodpecker, Skyscraper with the Rock, Mission Impossible, Fallout, Hotel Transylvania 3, Love Sign.
He's doing this outside.
Ready Player One, Disobedience, and Tully on DVD. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, DreamWorks Ultimate Holiday Collection.
That's a weirdly thick Blu-ray. Holy shit, what was that? Why is it so wide? The fuck? Where do you get that?
And Hollywood, DreamWorks Ultimate Holiday Collection, Secret Life of Pets 2, Regal Movie Gift Card, Amazon Prime, Matrix Trilogy on digital.
Is he showing off like real? I think this is okay. I think I understand what's going on here. These are real gifts from probably his parents. That's why they're all unopened.
Another year of Netflix. John Wick Chapter 3, The Mustang Yesterday. And Ad Astra on 4K HD.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me Bad Boys for Life.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Animated holiday specials. Smurfs The Lost Village. Open Season, Scared Silly. Ricky.
This doesn't work when you're going back in time to do this. This doesn't work because you didn't repeat the same ones throughout the song. The structure of the song is entirely different if you're going to try and do this at the end.
And The Flash, Garfield Holiday Collection, The Great Gatsby,
Active Valley, Where's Midnight in Paris, Letters to God, and up on DVD. Happy holidays, everybody.
Crazy.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love.
Sorry, there's an entire playlist of this? What the fuck? There's like fucking 20 of these? No, we're not doing any more of those. Oh my God. So he has these interviews with filmmakers, producers of Orion in the Dark. No Charlie Kaufman to be found. Where are the full interviews posted anywhere? That's what I want to know, right? Like, where does he... Podcasts? Continue.
It's Lights, Camera, Jackson. This is a special episode of the LCJ.
He's going to be so fucking hyped when he realizes that one person listened today. Oh my God.
Q&A podcast. Thank you so much for listening. The summer movie season has arrived. It's here. We're kicking things off with a special episode of the podcast previewing what to expect from the movies and what we're looking forward to over the next 4 months. Who am I joined by? A good friend of mine, fellow Critics' Choice Association member, film critic in Oklahoma City. Listen to him.
Fellow Critics' Choice Association member that talks down to me without me realizing it and talks to me as though I'm a child, but my brain has not developed past the age of 10 somehow. And I don't understand that that's what's happening. And I don't... And he might be embarrassed to be a fellow member of the thing that you're in.
On KJ103... and also on Twitter at JasonBlack23, Instagram at FlickKicks23, my buddy Jason.
You know, this isn't a bad idea if... Actually, I'm not even going to say it, sorry.
Black, hello, sir.
Hey, Jack.
I had an idea. I shouldn't say it.
Jackson, how are you, buddy?
Doing great, doing great. Had you on my Cinema Stories podcast in 2020, which was awesome. And now you're here on the LCJ Q&A, and let's dive in here, man.
We've come so far. We did it. We did it. Yeah.
Yes. We got everybody back to the movie theaters, which is important. And we're going to talk about the films hitting multiplexes as well as drive-in theaters, as well as streaming services and at-home releases over the next 4 months. So we're going to break down. We're going to go month by month, but we're not going to go in date order within the months. Anything that jumps out at us that we're looking forward to, we are going to talk about, or maybe ones even that we're not thinking are going to be so great, but maybe have your crossed for. So Jason, as we kick off with the month of May, when you look at the movies coming out,
I can't find Jason Black on social media.
I mean, really, The Fall Guy is the one that I think I might be looking forward to the most, just because I really feel like Gosling has gone to another level. I didn't know if he...
The Fall Guy looks awful. So he continues getting access. Like, what's his... How does he get all this access?
I'm Lights, Camera, Jackson. This is the LCJ Q&A podcast. You can also read these interviews at animationscoop.com. One of the biggest family film franchises of the past 5 years is, without question, the Sonic the Hedgehog saga. And before we get...
Every single podcast you click on this website has this. Like, since the podcast began. Like, he is so attached onto his previous successes. The first podcast guest was Tom Kenny. in case you randomly decide, like, in case you happen across this podcast, which is not happening.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. I'm talking with one of the stars of Disney's Winnie the Pooh, Tom Kenny. Tom, thanks for
So he was 12 or 13?
talking with me today.
Oh, Lights Camera Jackson, baby.
Thank you. Now, you must be so honored to be part of this new chapter in the classic Winnie the Pooh series.
Well, you know, honored is the word, absolutely. This is my first time as Rabbit. There have been a few other actors that have portrayed him in the cartoons over the years since they started in the 1960s. And, you know, to me, I'm just the next guy in line that's taken over for a little while before I pass it on to the next person, hopefully not for a while. And it's really nice. And I've actually worked with Jim Cummings, who does both Tigger and Pooh.
Right.
He's not the original, but he's been Tigger and Pooh for a long time. And him and I were literally connected at the hip in a series called Cat Dog.
Damn, you know, it's so fucking, could you imagine if underneath every single one of my videos, I had this whole fucking blurb of it's all about, I've met some film critics at festivals that are like print media critics, in the sense that like no one really cares what they have to say. They're just attached to like a larger organization. Like, you know, like I'm a film critic for the Washington Post or whatever. And if you're not working for the Washington Post, no one's going to see your shit, because people are only seeing it because of the Washington Post. People are only seeing it because it's a thing that's in the tabs of things that are connected to this larger media website, right? And a lot of these critics that I've talked to, all they have to, like, I've been to some fucking parties, all they fucking talk about is access. That's all they fucking talk about, and that's all they care about. It's some weird fucking ego thing, where it's like what they say about movies, a lot of them, and I'm not saying every single one of them, a lot of them, what they say about movies is almost irrelevant to just like, I got to talk to this person. I got to talk to this person. Could you imagine in the video description for all of my videos, I'm like, in 2015, Adam Johnston interviewed Charlie Kaufman, director of Synecdoche, New York, writer of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. You know, like, could you imagine, like, it should be about what you're saying about the movies, but they can't sell themselves on that because a lot of these fucking people are just not saying anything interesting. It's so weird. It's like, it's so ego driven. It's so fucking bizarre. Like his whole highlights reel, his whole fucking, the whole thing was just like, look at my access. I touched a famous person once. So like, he's continuing to do this podcast. Why does anybody go on it? The co-director of Kung Fu Panda 2 was on this podcast.
It's Lights Camera Jackson. It's the LCJ Q&A pod. It's a lot of fun, and it's in theaters this Friday, March 8th.
You said Kung Fu Panda 4 is a lot of fun. Are you only saying that because the people who made it are on the podcast?
Panda.
When it feels like a fucking, like, when you've got every single fucking person that you can possibly grasp onto interviewed on your podcast, it really makes me question your perspective on movies, right? Because then it's like, are you only saying the movie's good because they made it? Kung Fu Panda 4. Did you make a review on this? Like, there's tons of people who I could get access to. There's tons of people who I could get access to, but I don't invite them on the podcast, and I don't ask them for interviews because I don't think their movies are incredible. And I don't, you know, like, if I'm like, you know, what am I going to say? Oh, this movie was fine. Let me introduce my guest that made like an okay movie. Like, I don't know if they want to be on that. So like you introducing the Kung Fu Panda 4, can I even believe that you liked Kung Fu Panda 4? That's like one of the worst fucking movies ever. Oh, here we go. Kung Fu Panda 4. Search. So no review. Guests. Animation Scoop. Get ready for Kung Fu Panda 4. And then podcast, and then no review. So he probably didn't like the movie, but then didn't post anything because of he like interviewed the people.
Trailer. It's an action-packed trailer.
We wanted to make sure that we were gonna tell the next step for Poe. We wanted to make sure that
This is even funnier watching these people do interviews, because the whole behind-the-scenes story is that the director's an asshole, and the co-director tried to stop him from making the movie even worse. and no one would listen to her.
we had the best story and the best villain and the best theme to move forward and make another one of these out of my favorite franchise. We wanted to make sure that everyone would recognize that this is for the big screen.
Tai Lung returns.
Once we found our story.
What is this cut down from? Where do we find the... This is a clip from my chat. Where's the full clip? Does anybody know? Is it like on the live tab or something? Like, I'm so confused about this guy's channel.
We're live, and it's Sunday, April 28th, 2024, the final Sunday of the first third of 2024. Can you believe that? We're already almost a third.
I have to constantly adjust the volume on his channel because nothing is... Oh my God. The audio sucks.
Through the year. And you know what that means. The summer movie season is almost here. That's right. It kicks off in just a few days with The Fall Guy, some other major theatrical releases, some at-home releases as well. Send in your questions and your comments. We will talk about the summer movie season a lot here on this episode of LCK.
I want to know how many questions and comments he gets. So we have the live chat replay here. Let's see what he gets over the course of this. One comment in the first 3 minutes. When one of your reviews goes viral like Challengers and you get a lot of hate for it, how you deal with that seems tough.
They're kind of oblivious to it. If that windstorm was happening in real life, they would have canceled the match the next day because they would have needed more time to recover. And it would make like headline.
Oh, this is good. Sorry, I have to go back.
I saw this the other day. Not a fan of Challengers. I've explained why in a Twitter X post that has gotten a reach of about 3 million. And basically, here's why Challengers does not work. Number one, it is the tennis. Yes, I've been playing tennis for more than 17 years. It's a fast-paced game. I play it with a fast pace.
Did he change his accent in the past year?
And all the slow motion. It's just ridiculous. There's so many aspects of the story that are dumb. The character motivation.
All the slow motion, it's just ridiculous.
They're dumb. The performances are kind of embarrassing. It is a script that's wackadoo. It bounces around so much. It tries to suck us into this story.
I wonder if there's a thematic reason for why it bounces around so much in a tennis film. I wonder if there's a deeper meaning to that, Jackson. Are you going to acknowledge that maybe?
Soap opera with these one-dimensional characters who feel they're self-important. That's the only thing that this movie, if I were to say, what's the one positive out of Challengers? Because I have seen worse movies this year, but it is one of the worst.
He literally said the word bounce, too.
The year. What is the one positive I can say about Challengers? Is that you do see, for 2 hours and 11 minutes, 3 people who really think they are self-important. They are
Is he like losing his accent? Like, what's going on? Why is he talking so differently now? Is he trying to like exorcise the demon?
Obsessed. But that doesn't mean we can care about these characters or want to be with them for 2 hours and 11 minutes. There's no reason to do that. Yeah, it's a mess. It is a mess. I explain even more on the latest episode of the Too Fast, Too Films podcast with Mike Sargent. I review that. He reviews Boy Kills World.
Sorry, what podcast?
It is a mess. I explain even more on the latest episode of the Too Fast, Too Films podcast with
Two
Mike Sargent.
Bads, Two Films? Can somebody
that.
please help me understand what the fuck he's saying here?
On the latest episode of the Too Fast, Too Films podcast.
Too Fast, Two Films. Okay, is that his podcast? Oh my God, this website! I thought I had the worst website. That's crazy. 10 minutes? Your podcast is 10 minutes? I guess it's supposed to be fast.
It's time for Too Fast, Too Films with award-winning movie critics Mike Sargent and Jackson Murphy.
Award-winning is doing a lot of lifting.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Sorry, I keep having to adjust the volume. There's more production value to this one. This is... The first 30 seconds are nothing.
It's Jackson Murphy
It's not
and
a
Mike
very
Sargent.
fast podcast.
This is the Too Fast, Two Films podcast. On this new episode, we are each reviewing a new film you can see in theaters. First up, my thoughts on Challengers. Luca Guadagnino of Call Me By Your Name, Bones and All, and the Salvatore Ferragamo documentary.
They just cut in the middle of his sentence. This is a podcast. There's only 10 minutes. There's only 10 minutes in the podcast.
Reviewing a new film you can see in theaters. First up, my thoughts on Challengers.
Like they inserted the sound effect, but forgot to drag his audio over.
Luca Guadagnino of
Luca Guadagnino.
Call Me By Your Name, Bones and All, and the Salvatore Ferragamo documentary we reviewed here on the podcast. It was originally supposed to open last September, and then it got moved to the end of April, and I thought, well, maybe it's due to the strikes going on, or maybe it's due to the fact that it's not a very good film. Turns out it's probably the second reason, because this is one of the worst films I have seen this year.
It's probably due to it not being a very good film. 82 Metascore, all right? 88 Rotten Tomatoes.
This year. It stars Zendaya as Tashi Duncan, this tennis superstar. And when we see early on in the movie, she's sitting in the crowd watching these two guys play in this big tournament. Josh O'Connor, who played Charles on The Crown, is Patrick Zweig, and Mike Feist, who was Riff in West Side Story, is Art Donaldson. So these two guys are facing off. She's sitting in the crowd. We're wondering, what's going on? What's the emotion behind all this? We flash back 13 years.
It's been... Let's assume that your part of the podcast takes up half of this. We're almost halfway through your part. You haven't said anything about the quality of the film, other than you just didn't like it.
A little much. To them, when they're about 18 years old, how they meet, how they fall in love with each other, maybe, sort of. Are they really into each other? Are they more into the game of tennis? Who's into who? Those are some of the big questions. And the thing I'd come away with is, who cares? The only real thing that this movie gets right is that it shows how self-important these characters think that they are. But for the audience, for us, if we want to try to invest ourselves in these characters for 2 hours and 11 minutes, it's very difficult to do so. Along with the fact that it's a tennis movie, and Guadagnino and writer Justin Kuritsky's really have no idea what they're doing when it comes to portraying tennis. All the points go on way too long. Every time a character gets angry, they just smash a racket.
It's not even true. There's I think there's 2 racket smashes in the entire movie. Like that, I don't. And it takes place over a long period of time, right? Like, I've heard from people that watch tennis that racket smashing is a thing too, right?
Frustration bubbling. And it's very unrealistic to have a game that's all about agility and speed and the overuse of slow motion.
How does he keep... Okay, I would think that if he wrote that in his text review, it would be because he just didn't put too much thought into it and was just kind of farting something out. The fact that he continues to use the word unrealistic for slow-mo... Obviously, when you see something in slow-mo, the implication is not that it's happening in real time. Why would you use the word unrealistic for a slow motion choice? Why would you in all of these reviews that he's posted of Challengers, he's gonna say it again here. He uses the word unrealistic. That's not relevant to the choice of slow-mo. Think of a better word. You could say unfitting. You could say that you would have preferred for the action to be more fast-paced. Unrealistic is not relevant to the criticism. That's not a criticism.
Angry, they just smash her.
It's very unrealistic that time slowed down. In any movie, it's unrealistic. Any movie with slow-mo, it's unrealistic. What do you mean?
Racket. And it's very unrealistic to have a game that's all about agility and speed and the overuse of slow motion. Ugh.
He's been doing nothing but this since he was 10, and he doesn't know how to communicate himself.
On top of this annoying techno music just to try to get emotion out of the audience. It's very manipulative. It's very
I would call the fucking Challengers soundtrack one of the least manipulative soundtracks ever, because it uses music in a way that's entirely unconventional. I consider manipulative music to be the fucking cookie cutter checklist, like, oh, you play the single string or the single piano note whenever a character's sad or someone's dying and you hold them in your arms or whatever. This used music in a way that was entirely unconventional. It was used in a new way, and I experienced new emotions. Why are you calling it manipulative? That doesn't make any sense.
Forceful, and it does not make for a good experience.
Wow, that's almost an indictment. Well, let me ask you two questions. One, why is this getting such good ratings on both?
Could you imagine being a critic that attaches themselves onto Lights, Camera, Jackson?
Audiences and critics, and two, clearly the only star here is Zendaya. And I think this is really probably one of the first films where she is literally the star. Nobody else is anybody you've heard of. You've heard of the director, but nobody else. Can she carry the film?
I think the answer to your first question is that a lot of people seem to get sucked into soap operas. But this is not a very good soap opera when the dialogue is so flim-flam.
Sorry, his first question was what?
Good ratings on both from
good
audience
ratings.
Director, but nobody else.
A lot of people get sucked into soap operas, that's why. I would not ever describe Challengers as a fucking soap opera.
Can she carry the film?
I think the answer to your first question is that a lot of people seem to get sucked into soap operas. But this is not a very good soap opera when the dialogue is so flim-flam and when these characters are so one-dimensional. And kind of leading into your second question, the performances are so embarrassing. I mean, Zendaya, I think, has given better performances. She probably gives the best performance in the film out of the three, but she's given far better performances, including Dune Part 2, which I think is a career highlight for her. What also makes this a tough movie to watch is the fact that the timeline bounces around so much. Again, just a way to kind of get us sucked into this situation and make us feel a certain way, a certain time. And then, on top of that,
he's never going to acknowledge the thematic reasons for that. He's never going to acknowledge it because it bounced off his fucking head.
Unrealistic factor and the goofiness of it all culminates in this third act that involves a windstorm in New Rochelle that is like the worst windstorm of all time, and yet these characters are kind of oblivious to it and it doesn't matter.
That's not true that they are oblivious to it and it doesn't matter. They said that they might cancel the game the next day if conditions didn't improve. I've seen the movie once. Like, it's not... that's not true.
It is just unbelievable. It's also... I know.
It's unbelievable that there would be a windstorm, I guess.
I know. And the whole age thing, them going from 31 to 18, Zendaya was only 25 when she filmed this. It's tough. There's aspects of it that just don't work as an experience.
Wow, the worst windstorm of all time. Well, that's definitely something. Well, you know, I haven't seen the film, and I've only seen clips, and I know there's this clip where somebody says, you don't know what tennis is. So it sounds to me that Luca and company don't know what a tennis movie is.
Amen.
So the film that I'm going to talk about.
Okay, let's see. This is crazy. This is fun. Okay. Next time I'm doing reactions, remind me to just check out whatever the fuck Lights, Camera, Jackson is doing, because this can be an entire series. I don't think we've scratched the surface here, and I'm entirely comfortable commenting on his content from now until the end of time. Honestly, there's a lot to get out of this. So I'm shocked it's taken me this long, but this is fascinating.
Sergeant. I review that. He reviews Boy Kills World. That will be up soon at toofast2films.com.
Had to adjust the volume again.
Moment when a character gets angry in Challengers, all they do is smash a racket. It happens like 8 times.
All they do, it doesn't happen 8 times. Like 8 times, I guess you're being exaggerative. All they do is smash a racket? What do you mean? There's plenty of other things they do when they're angry. You're like, that's not true.
Moment when a character gets angry in Challengers, all they do is smash a racket. It happens like 8 times. I'm angry. You just smash a racket. Come on. Really?
I think I'm comfortable criticizing Lights Camera Jackson to such a degree that because he's like just so fucking privileged. Like he's such a Nepo baby that like anybody else on the entire fucking planet saying the exact same shit that he did without having parents that just like booped him into the situation. Like, I feel no guilt over this, and if he ever responds to me, it would be funny. So who cares?
How about all the points in the game, in the games in the movie, go on way too long, and then you have all these scenes where all these characters are bobbing their head back and forth, and Zendaya's just looking straight ahead. I mean, come on, you know how goofy that looks?
Do you think it might be saying something about the characters? Do you think that there might be a heightened sense of reality in the film? Do you think that it might not be entirely literal? Do you think that there might not be a heightened sense of reality? Like, because that's what I got out of it. We recorded the podcast episode, Sardonicast, where we talked about this yesterday, and you'll hear me talk about that exact same point. Like, it's not that difficult to pick up.
Not to mention the windstorm in New Rochelle, which is the worst windstorm of all time. And the characters are kind of oblivious to it. If that windstorm was happening in real life, they would have canceled the match the next day because they would have needed more time to recover. And it would make...
They said they acknowledged it in the film even. Like they...
Headline national news, international news. That was the worst windstorm in history, and these characters are just walking and talking and being in a car.
Being in a car.
Ridiculous! How do you take it seriously? You can't.
That's what I find myself asking. But I don't ask that about your videos because nobody actually takes you seriously. So he's looking at the computer. He's almost got his first comment.
Post shot.
Oh, yeah. No, he got his first comment 3 minutes and 30. Why do you do live stream? Why do you even do live streams?
Anna, when one of your reviews goes viral like Challengers and you get a lot of hate for it, how do you deal with that? Seems tough. Well, you know what? You just go on. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's the beauty.
Look, Bridge Builder, my comment was not about how he lives. My comment had nothing to do with how he spends his money. I'm talking about his place in this ecosystem and the fact that he has an Emmy. And that he's doing this for a living despite clearly not making a fucking dime off of what he's doing. Probably just living off of his parents' income. Maybe that's an assumption, right?
About art and criticism and film criticism. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of people posting like, oh, I played tennis. Okay, fine. That's your opinion. That's fine. This is my opinion.
And if he wants to be in this ecosystem where he's criticizing films, then he should be fine with other people criticizing his reviews, right? People do that to me all the time. You're on YouTube. You're fine. Whatever, you got an Emmy, right? You're right and I'm wrong.
On Challengers, it is a terrible movie, and I am okay with getting it out there. Plain and simple. $15 million for Challengers is okay.
He's got a huge page of notes. And he said like fucking 3 things. Look at how much he's written down. He's rehashed the same fucking 3 things he said about the movie. What are those notes for? What are those notes for?
It's better than single digits. I think Amazon MGM feared it would only get single digits.
What films did he say he liked in the past? He loves the Trolls movies. Like the animated kids musical movies with Justin Timberlake. A pro tennis player roasted him on Twitter. All right. I've been playing tennis for 18 years. Don't listen to this guy. I've been playing tennis for 17 years. I don't know. So here's the thing. I'm really into fucking music. I'm into music hardcore. There's some, like, questionable accuracies about the film Whiplash. You know, but it's still a great movie. Whenever I go off on autistic rants about the inaccuracies of certain things in films, usually it's because the films aren't offering much outside of those basic narrative functions, right? If you find me going into tiny details about like, oh, this didn't make sense and this, blah, 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 it's because the movie's not good anyway. And even in the movies that I love, like a fucking Gattaca, I can still criticize those elements and love the movie and still acknowledge the other filmmaking elements within the film. Right? Gattaca doesn't make any sense because in that year you would have fucking security cameras. Entire plot wouldn't happen. Sorry, I've ruined the movie for a bunch of you. It's still a great movie. Still great music. Great dynamics. Great performances. Really well directed. The emotional beats hit, right? Yeah, it takes creative liberties, I'm sure. In the same way that Whiplash takes creative liberties with Music School. Right? Like that doesn't the reason why it's why the story is not based on a true story and not real life.
So we got 15 million. Now, I don't know if it's going to have legs to go 2, 3, 4 weeks of small drops. You know, could it do another 12 million or 10 million next weekend? I'm not sure about that. History will absolve you, LCJ.
I couldn't imagine doing a fucking live stream with like no viewers.
I think
3 likes. We got the third comment here. 4.5 minutes into it.
Challengers. Look, it was a movie that was supposed to come out in September. Remember? It was supposed to come out in September. Kind of 2 dead periods for the year. Early September, and then the end of April. And I kind of wondered, okay, is this because of the strikes or is it because it's a terrible film? And in the end, I think it's because it's a terrible film.
The overwhelming majority of the population doesn't agree with you. So it's weird that the studio... Just you, and then according to you, MGM. We're correct. They pushed it because they thought it was a terrible film.
They're 2 of the worst periods, like Labor Day weekend and the end of April. Also, January is a bad time. You know, August...
I like this piece of cardboard.
...can be a bad time. You get gems here and there. Somebody yesterday on social media was like, oh, you hate movies. No, I don't hate movies. Yeah, I hate the fact that there's like 4 or 5 films out in theaters right now that I don't particularly care for. But there's a lot of good films out as well.
Oh, this is the clip.
Find them. Sometimes the indie gems are...
So he does take clips from his live streams.
There are good films on streaming services. Kung Fu Panda 4 is good. It's not going to match the original, but it's all right for families. The Steve Martin Part 1 documentary that's on Apple is excellent. Jean Dubarry,
oh my God.
Original, but it's all right for families. Very entertaining.
Wait, hold on.
Services. Dune Part 2 is excellent. Spy X Family Code White is very entertaining. You have to give it a chance. Kung Fu Panda 4 is good.
This was missing from his clip. Remember earlier when I said that because he interviewed, is this missing? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Because I don't remember him saying that.
Unsung Hero are good films and very entertaining. You have to give it a chance. The Steve Martin Part 1.
He cut out the part in his clip where he said Kung Fu Panda wasn't great. Oh my God. It's literally what I said. It's because of the access. Oh my God. He literally cut. Oh. That's embarrassing. Because he interviewed the directors of Kung Fu Panda 4 March 4th. And this is exactly what I was saying earlier. Like when you have so much access and you're interviewing everybody and you're trying to be buddy-buddy with everybody, right? Like there's people that I could interview on my channel that I just don't because I don't think that they're great. When you see me interacting publicly with filmmakers, 99% of the time it's because I really respect their work and I think that they're fucking fantastic artists. But critics like these, they don't fucking care. They don't fucking care about who's a fantastic artist. they're literally just like, I got to touch a famous person. I'm in the industry. Right? Oh my God. He literally cut it out. So it was like he accidentally said that.
Very entertaining. You have to give it excellent. Lewis, fantastic. This week with Johnny Beck is very entertaining. Part 2 is excellent. Spy X.
Where was it?
Bon Jovi opens this week with Johnny, one of the week, and which opens this week is unique animation. See, sometimes as well as not just Hero, which we'll talk about in a minute, is not a good film. Ghostbusters was disappointing, but there are good films in theaters. There are good films on streaming services. Dune Part 2 is excellent. Spy X Family Code White is very entertaining. You have to give it a chance. The Steve Martin Part 1 documentary that's on Apple is excellent.
Yeah.
The Bon Jovi 4-part documentary on Hulu is fantastic. Jean Dubarry, which opens this week with Johnny Depp, new French film, is terrific. It's one of the best movies I've seen this year. Part 1 documentary that to give it a chance. The Steve Martin.
So that cut is where he said Kung Fu Panda 4 wasn't great in his live stream.
Theaters, there are good films on streaming services. Dune Part 2 is excellent. Spy X Family Code White is very entertaining. You have to give it a chance. Kung Fu Panda 4 is good. It's not going to match the original, but it's all right for families.
Good. Not going to match the original, but it's all right for families. It was a shit movie. I'm willing to believe he also thinks it's a shit movie, but he realized later that even him saying, it's all right, that wasn't enough.
Spy X Family Code White is very entertaining. You have to give it a chance.
Cut. That's the cut.
Martin Part 1 documentary.
Oh my God. And what's funny is if somebody tries to say like, oh no, because this is just about him recommending things, right?
Films are better than the big studio releases. Yeah, Civil War is not a good film. Challengers is not a good film. Ghostbusters was disappointing, but there are good films in theaters. There are good films on streaming services. Dune Part 2 is excellent. Spy X Family Code White is
We'll give him that.
To give it a chance. The Steve Martin Part 1 documentary that's on Apple is excellent.
That could be an argument.
The Bon Jovi 4-part documentary on Hulu is fantastic. Jean Dubarry, which
all right. That's very funny. It's funny that it matches what I thought earlier.
The Steve Martin Part 1 documentary that's on Apple is excellent. The Bon Jovi 4-part documentary on Hulu is fantastic. Jean Dubarry, which opens this week with Johnny Depp, new French film, is terrific. It's one of the best movies I have seen this year. And Mars Express, which opens this week, is unique. And so sometimes you just gotta find them, and that's one of the beauties of film criticism is on to show audiences that there is more out there than just the film playing in 4,000 theaters. Smashing a Ragged Luke's gotta find your favorite real-life tennis pros. I stood next to one of the Williams sisters. I was like 5 or 6 years old. There was an event. We were walking. I think it was Venus. We were walking back from an event. I remember that.
I touched a famous person.
And I happened to be pretty close to her. I watch tennis occasionally.
People asked you who your favorite tennis player was, and you said, I was standing next to one of the Williams sisters, and I don't know who, but I was right next to them. It's funny how the things that I think in the back of my mind and my assumptions, the more you dig into things, it's like, this kind of matches that.
You just gotta find them, and that's one of the beauties of film criticism as well, is not just, oh, we can blast hidden gems. The films we want the film playing in 4,000 theaters. Smashing.
Who are your fave real-life tennis pros? That was the question.
I stood next to one of the Williams sisters. I was like 5 or 6 years old. There was an event. We were walking. I think it was Venus. We were walking back from an event. I remember that. And I happened to be pretty close to her.
That's the entire framework of like the lens of which he views things is just access. Jesus, it's so upsetting. Who's your favorite tennis pro? When I was 5 or 6 years old, I stood next to one of the Williams sisters. I didn't know who it was, but I was right there.
And I happened to be pretty close to her. I watch tennis occasionally, not all the time. I like playing it more than watching it. And you got to get the tennis scenes right in a movie. King Richard had excellent tennis scenes. They knew tennis, the makers of King Richard. Battle of the Sexes, as I said last week here on LCJ Live, the angles were too far away, the shots were too far away. King Richard, we were immersive. That's how you show tennis in a movie. Challengers is not how you show tennis in a movie. Will you be seeing
There's one way in which you should show tennis in a movie. Challengers did not do it.
Is that a new movie coming out? I haven't heard about The Beast, says Robbie. The Golden Oreos, are you going to see The People's Joker? I've heard about The People's Joker. And Robbie would love to hear your take. LCJ loves movies.
You didn't say if you're going to see it.
Needed, I retweet that, says Poshana. Thank you so much. Yes, the beauty of sharing opinions on movies. Like Unsung Hero, which is your #2 movie in America with 7.8 million. It almost came in 4th this weekend. It ended up being very close. Listen, when a faith-based movie is good, it is good. You talk about a movie like Jesus Revolution from last year, Powerhouse. Ordinary Angels earlier this year was good. I didn't love it, but strong performances, especially Alan Ritchson.
Why did I know that he would be a faith-based individual?
Alongside Hilary Swank. But when it's sappy and forceful and slow and tries to make you cry desperately, that's Unsung Hero. And one of the big disappointments for me this year, because I thought there was going to be something to it, and there's not. The fans went out to see this, of the band and the family, 7.8 million. Not a stellar start, a little better than Ordinary Angels, which opened to 6.1 million for Lionsgate in February. A little better than that, but not by a lot. Jesus Revolution last year, you had Kelsey Grammer, and you had a really compelling movie, opened to more than 15 million, did 52 for Lionsgate. So they're trying with these faith-based movies this year. So far, neither Ordinary Angels or Unsung Hero has done exceptionally well. Ordinary Angels, by far, the better movie of the two.
Describing them as faith-based movies and not religious propaganda movies is also fun. Faith-based movies is kind of telling. When you describe them as faith-based movies, even if you don't even have to say religious propaganda, you can just say religious movies. You don't even have to have the opposite connotation. Faith-based movies is a weirdly positive way to describe them.
2. In 3rd this weekend is Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, which added 7.2 million. This is still making money. It's at 181.7. Will it try to get to 200? Maybe. Maybe Warner Brothers will try to get this to 200 million domestically. I think when you look at drive-ins that are opening up for the summer,
thank you, Tyrant.
This is a huge drive-in movie because you got these gigantic characters. So people going to see this. Also Ghostbusters, Panda, for the next couple weeks until we get legitimate family fare in If and Garfield. You're going to have Ghostbusters and Godzilla.
Legitimate family fare in If.
Play in drive-ins, and that's
legitimate family fare in If.
4th place goes to Civil War, which added 7 million. Not bad in terms of a drop.
You're describing box office numbers?
Down to 7, not bad. It's at 56.2. I initially predicted this was going to open to 20 million and total 55. It opened to 25 and change and is now already at 56. And it could make a run at $70 million for A24. The biggest movie for the studio ever, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which made more than $77 million. I don't think Civil War is going to get to 77 million, but it is already the 2nd highest grossing movie ever for A24 and will stay there. But it's definitely passing 60 million, which I didn't think was going to happen, and could make a run at 70. Number 5 this weekend is Abigail, which dropped about 50%, 5.3 million. It's at 18.8 for Universal, a studio that outside of Kung Fu Panda 4 is struggling this year. They need The Fall Guy to be a big hit. It opens this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. Ministry of Ungentle Warfare, also from Lionsgate, 3.9 million this weekend. It's at 15.5. Not a gigantic hit for the studio or for Guy Ritchie. In 7th, Kung Fu Panda 4 made another 3.6 million. Families still need content for a couple more weeks. It's at 185. It's going to pass Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which made 185.5. I don't think DreamWorks saw this coming. I don't think Universal saw this coming. But Kung Fu Panda 4,
you know, anybody could just fucking Google the fucking box office numbers. What is the point of this stream? Like, what do you offer to people? What do you offer to people? Nobody cares about your perspective. Does he believe he's offering anything to, like, the public consciousness in any way? Does he believe that? I couldn't imagine trying to be, like, any kind of public figure or artist without adding something that you can't get from someone else, right? The shit that I put out is me. You don't get this shit from other people, right? No matter what I do.
Just outside the top 10 is the re-release of Alien, which opened to 1.6 million. The Mummy re-release made $1 million. As I wrote the other day, look, these re-releases are doing well. When you look at 2.6 million...
I am offering a uniquely autistic perspective.
For the Mummy and Alien this weekend. The Shrek 2 re-release at about 3.5 million. The Spider-Man movie's doing really well on Mondays. The theatrical experience is still king. I have a poll series going on right now on my Twitter X platform at LCJ Reviews. You vote every day for the movie you're looking forward to seeing the most this summer. It's a tournament, whittle it down to the number one choice, which will be voted upon by you later this week. But right now you can vote for 4 movies coming out in July. Then over the next 2 days, there'll be 4 movies each in the month of August. And then we'll have a semifinal, 2 rounds of that, and then a winner. So yeah, summer movie poll. Vote for it on Twitter X at LCJ Reviews. Speaking of the summer movie season, it kicks off this week with The Fall Guy, a film that I predicted a while back would try to make a run at a $60 million open. I think that is still a possibility. I think $50 million is a possibility. I think Universal prays it gets more than 40.
Why would anybody go to you for fucking numbers? That's most of this video is just box office numbers. What are you offering to people that people can't get by just fucking Googling it or going to someone else?
I even think 30 would be low for them. I think they're praying for 40 million or more for The Fall Guy. 50 would be great, 60 or higher, but bam, that would be fantastic for The Fall Guy. It's competition, it's a horror movie, Tarot, that's not gonna make a lot. In theaters as well, Jean Dubarry, as I mentioned, Johnny Depp, French film, directed by Ma Wen, starring her as well. Excellent movie. What they do with narration in that, phenomenal. The emotion to it, the performances, the depth of the story, fantastic.
Narration's unrealistic, though.
Go see it, it opens Thursday. Mars Express, as I mentioned, opens from G-Kids. It's an adult film. I'm wondering if G-Kids is going to change their name to Thursday. It's got a lot of attention. Watch the Bon Jovi docu-series, so check that out at lcj.podbean.com tomorrow for today's episode of LCJ Live. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good week. We kick off the summer movie season this week with The Fall Guy, which I hope is a lot of fun. And we'll be back next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern to see how The Fall Guy does and preview the box office for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Thanks for watching LCJ Live, everybody. Bye-bye.
His smile disappears the moment he thinks he's, oh my God, this is sad.
Buddy, bye-bye.
Watch this. Oh! Fuck. Okay, now is this bullying now?
Bye-bye.
Are his parents still controlling him? Oh my God. I don't think he even enjoys this. I don't even think he enjoys what he's doing.
Bye-bye.
That's like 2 frames that entirely the smile's gone entirely within 2 frames.
Bye-bye.
Let's see. Okay, we're gonna do this to the frame. Literally 2 frames. Smile? No. Fucking Jesus. He looks so uncomfortable. Oh my God. This is sad. Oh my God, that's an aggressive camera. What are those notes? Those are just box office number notes? Now I feel bad. Fuck.
They both have to go around the entire world.
Oh, I love audio only in the left channel.
Then they're going to visit different...
I love when audio's only in the left channel.
...points in the world.
You'd think after doing this for X amount of years, you'd figure out.
It was really cool to us. We're
how to have audio in more than one channel.
The Great Lakes, and we go on Santa Monica Pier, and then we're in Hawaii for a beat, and we as the night moves around the world, how do we represent?
So now we know that this smile that he does every time he's on camera is just like the fakest shit ever.
These individuals, without having to build the entire world.
Damn, you could make a great movie about this type of character, right? You could base a character off of LCJ and make a really good movie out of it, like a really good character study, like a drama.
World in animation.
I wonder what he would think of that movie. I wonder what Lights Camera Jackson would think about a movie that's literally just about his life.
It's tough to do.
And what blew me away at the beginning of the movie is this narration monologue that Orion has about fears and about life.
This would have been the Tarantino movie, maybe.
And about what he's going through.
So much of it was in the script already from Charlie, and Charlie is such a brilliant writer and artist and character creator that I felt like it was already there. And I was, in terms of like how to handle Orion, and I was just like there to make sure that we carried it through. Relatability for the kid was something we said almost every day at the beginning.
How do you decide that that's a clip on your channel? How do you look at that and go like, yeah, that's a clip? Like, there's nothing there. Imagine getting the, like, highest kickstart in your life at the age of 10. Oh, he hasn't been streaming for that long. So where are these other clips coming from? Imagine being set up for life at the age of 10 and then just, like, not knowing what to do with it at all. 6 of these have more than 100 views. I'll be the 100th view on this video.
Happy Easter Sunday. It's April the 9th, 2023. I am
You're
Lights
welcome.
Cameron Jackson, and welcome to LCJ Live. Wow. Super Mario.
Sorry, is somebody controlling the
Happy
camera?
Easter Sunday. It's April the 9th, 2023. I
Are
am
his
Lights
parents still there?
Cameron Jackson, and welcome
Does he live with his parents still?
to LCJ Live. Wow. Super Mario Brothers movie is a phenomenon right now. $205 million Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and today. That is far bigger than anyone expected it to do. Than I expected it to do. I thought it'd get to 150, even by tomorrow night 150. It's already, by the end of the day today, going to be at 205.
I love hearing box office numbers.
I predicted Wednesday after I saw the movie, and it was a crowded showing with lots of kids under the age of 5 who aren't even in school yet. I thought, all right, this is going to make $500 million domestically. And it still needs another $300 million to do that, but I think it's going to get there unless the drop is just outrageously high next weekend and everybody needed to go now. But look at this, $205 million, 204.6 Wednesday through tonight for the 3-day, 146.4. That is just Friday, Saturday, and today. That is the second biggest opening weekend ever for an animated movie behind Incredibles 2 from 2018, which opened at 182.7. I don't count the 2019 Lion King movie as a legitimate animated film. The Hollywood Foreign Press did at the Golden Globes, but I don't. So I don't see that 191.8 as really counting as an animated movie. I see the Lion King as a live action.
No! No, Jackson!
But I don't. So I don't see that 191.8 as really counting as an animated movie. I see the Lion King as a live action redo, remake.
Jackson, no! Why? April 2023. I see The Lion King 2019 as a live action movie.
But I don't. So I don't see that 191.8 as really counting as an animated movie. I see the Lion King as a live action redo, remake, the reimaginings.
Can you justify that belief? What the fuck are you talking about? It's It's literally animated. Just what? Because the kids in the React video were obvious. Like we've seen the footage of the kids saying like, "Oh yeah, if we don't say what they want us to say, then we're not going to be in the video." You can't blame them. You can't blame them. What the fuck is this? I didn't think a real person actually thought that. What the fuck?
1.8 as really counting as an animated movie. I see the Lion King as a live action redo, remake, the reimaginings. We got some comments already. Brandon Heaton, Mario was really good. Love Illumination. Illumination doing so well in this
We've got some comments already.
pandemic, post-pandemic period. Sing 2,
2 comments.
Minions: The Rise of Gru, which is totaled $369.5 million. And now this, Illumination is on fire, and they've got Migration coming out this Christmas. Does the success of Mario movie make you pessimistic about the state of cinema? Look, people are going to the movies, people of all ages. When I came out of this movie the other day, and I realized everybody of all ages is going to go to this film, that is so rare these days for any movie to attract the under 5 crowd to the 90-year-old plus crowd. And this movie is going to capture everybody because the love of these characters. Theaters are doing really well. Look at Air. Air, $20 million from Wednesday to tonight. $20.2 million, $14.5 million for the 3-day is a lot better.
I just love hearing box office numbers. I can't get that anywhere else. You're offering such a great service. You totally have a purpose on this planet.
So maybe 10 million, maybe 12 million, could have done 15. It did 20. Wow, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Viola Davis, this cast is so strong, the story's so interesting, and adults needed to go see this out of the gate, and it's a good movie. And Mario's a fun movie too, so you have 2 quality movies that are drawing people into the cinemas on this Easter weekend. I think theaters are going to continue to do well. We have Mega Movie March, and then boom, this April with Air and Mario, especially. Just unbelievable results, truly unbelievable. What Mario does is it passes Finding Dory, which opened to $135 million first Friday through Sunday back in 2016, so it's the second biggest animated opening of all time. You had other gigantic movies, of course, Frozen 2 with 130, Shrek the Third 122, Toy Story 4 with 121, the Minions movies, other Shrek movies, could not get to this 146 that Mario just did, bam, like that. Looks like Mario also going to pass Frozen.
What are you offering?
For the biggest opening weekend worldwide ever for an animated movie with $377 million. Frozen 2 in 2019 did $358.5. Boom! And look, this movie does not have major competition for quite a while. There are a couple other family movies, animated movies that are coming out. This one called Rally Road Racers. It's coming out May 12th. Also Little Mermaid, of course, on May 26th. But not a lot for families until The Little Mermaid. Some families will go to Guardians of the Galaxy. Some may even go to Fast and Furious 10. Maybe not. But when you look at major animated movies, the next one, of course, is Spider-Verse on June 2nd. 2 weeks later, Pixar's Elemental, June 16th. And 2 weeks after that, on June 30th, is DreamWorks' Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. Mario is going to dominate the theaters for families until June 2nd when Spider-Verse comes out. And I think it'll get to $500 million. Unless the drop is just outrageously gigantic. I don't see that happening. I see
repeat business for a movie that's 90 minutes long and can be on a bunch of screens and have a bunch of showtimes per day. Happy Easter, Jackson says. Pizza Man CJM, who is seeing Mario today. Very good. Enjoy it, and happy Easter to you as well. Yeah, what a start for Mario. Universal. Look, Universal also.
I take back what I said earlier about me making consistent content about him because I feel sad now. I actually feel sad for him.
In this pandemic, we're 3 more animated movies.
Well, I might revisit him at some point, but I'm not gonna make it an arc. I actually feel sad.
Like The Bad Guys, which made close to $100 million. And Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which just crossed the $185 million mark, which Mario passes today in its 5th day. Pretty amazing. Yeah. And you know, it's really interesting. You, of course, had this iconic battle between Nintendo and Sega. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 opened this exact weekend a year ago. Didn't have a 5-day start, but it had a 3-day start of 74 million, something in that department. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 totaled 191 million domestically, which Mario is going to pass today in day 5 of its release. So Nintendo...
I mean, yeah, he doesn't need his own money to survive anyway, so who cares?
beating Sega still all these years later. Of course, we're going to get Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in Christmas of 2024, but they got to be going, oh my gosh, look at this. Incredible. Now look, when you look at numbers 2, 3, and 4 for the box office this weekend, it's a literal tie. 3-way tie. John Wick Chapter 4 is estimating 14.6 million. Air and Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves are estimating 14.5 million. So
is this what you do every month? Is this all your live streams, and the only reason you talked about challengers is because you got a viral tweet of people dunking on you?
The Golden Oreos here. Happy Easter, LCJ. Thank you. In honor of the Mario movie doing so well, I wanted to ask what your experience with video games was growing up. Well, you know, I played some video games, but it's funny, and I haven't had really the chance to talk about this yet. I played a Mario baseball game with my cousin when I was younger. I loved playing this Mario baseball game. Yoshi's one of my favorite characters, and so I would play that a lot when I would see him. And it's funny, it did cross my mind when I was young that these characters look so good in CG form. Why is there not a movie? Why is there not a series with these characters? And now finally, some dozen years later, here we are with the Super Mario Brothers movie. So I didn't play a lot of video games because I was watching a lot of game shows. I was watching a lot of television, different series and movies, of course, when I was younger, and playing more board games or strategy games.
My conspiracy guess here is that his parents didn't allow him to play video games, but he's too scared to admit it because his parents are also holding the camera. I didn't play it. I played a video game only at my cousin's. And then at home, I was just watching shows. That sounds like someone whose parents didn't allow him to play video games and whose parents are holding the camera right now. 5 comments.
Get this out in 3 years, so you'd be looking at
15 minutes.
Twitter reviews. Instagram at Lightscam Jackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com.
20-minute streamer, you say fucking nothing.
More interviews, animation scoop Q&As, podcast episodes, Too Fast, Two Films. We review Air. We also review Living with Chucky. That'll be up soon at toofast2films.com.
Documentary on the Chucky franchise you can watch on VOD. And I'm on 99.5 The River this week and seeing some movies and have some cool projects and announcements.
So you're on 95 The River
this week and 99.5 The River. And I'm on 99.5 The River this week.
So he's on the radio still. He's on the radio.
And seeing some movies and have some cool projects and announcements soon. Thank you for watching LCJ Live. Happy Easter. Have a great day. And I will see you next Sunday for LCJ Live. Take care, everybody. Happy Easter. Bye-bye.
His smile just fucking immediately. He needs to hold the smile longer. This is terrifying. There's a real character here. Oh my God. This is fucking terrifying. There's such a good movie to be had here. He doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know the best movie is his life. Damn, this is sad. This is depressing. Like, holy shit. Life is a performance.
Everybody, happy Easter. Bye-bye.
Oh. Well, who zoomed in at the beginning?
Happy Easter Sunday. It's April the 9th, 2023.
If he has to shut off the camera by himself, who zoomed in at the beginning?
Happy Easter Sunday. It's April the 9th, 2023.
Did they start and then leave? Or is the camera shutting off the camera of himself like a part of the act? Okay. All right. Sound of Freedom. Here we go.
7 million. I finally saw Sound of Freedom. I like Sound of Freedom for the most part as a movie. Yes, there are so many other controversies and things surrounding the movie. You look at it as a movie, and here's how I evaluate it as a movie. Here is a 2-hour, 5-minute, whatever it was, movie. A little slow. I would have edited some scenes. Pacing needed to go a little
faster, especially in the first
pretty
half.
slow.
But Jim Caviezel's very good. Bill Camp is very good. The two main child actors are excellent. This is a tough movie. It's a powerful film at times with the story. Mira Sorvino's not in it a lot. Would have liked to seen a little more of Mira Sorvino, but it's a compelling film.
The child actors were not good.
And as many have talked about, and one of the reasons why it's up to $163.5 million is because of the QR code that they show at the end of the movie with a special message from Jim Caviezel asking people to share tickets, allowing people to go see the movie, paying for tickets, and the message of why this movie is important. That is
I don't think he was making a definitive
unique.
statement on the runtime.
And it's a strategy I
think
think
he
some
guessed.
people will steal and borrow from coming up down the line for other movies, because look at what this movie has made. It's made $163.5 million. It's made more than Mission Impossible. It could make more than Indiana Jones.
It's about the
only
numbers,
$7 million
everybody.
behind Indiana Jones, which added $1.5 million this weekend. It's up to 170.6. The biggest surprise hit of the year. Forget summer. The year. Sound of Freedom. And for a good film. Talk to Me. Added $6.3 million in its second weekend. It's at 22.1. It's the 9th biggest movie ever for A24.
Did you watch it?
And it'll keep climbing up that chart over the next few weeks. We'll see how high it can get. It's not going to beat Everything Everywhere All at Once, Uncut Gems, Lady Bird, but it's going to get pretty high up there on that A24 chart. A film called Rocky Horror.
All right, let's see. Let's see the smile disappear. Is he going to do it again?
And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
He cut the smile even earlier in this one. He looks so uncomfortable when he leaves.
Time. Bye-bye.
Did something upset him in the last part of this?
YouTube.com/LightsCameraJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com. Thanks for watching LCJ Live. Rest in peace to Paul Rubens.
Oh, it's because he was saying rest in peace. He didn't want to smile during that part.
And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, well, that was a fascinating character study. Much more so than many films that try to be. And I think I'm done. And I think I'm going to bed. But that was very interesting. Emmy winner, Lights, Camera, Jackson. Fascinating character. Feel sad. Don't know what's going on. Yeah, New York Emmy. He doesn't specify that on his website. That was fun. That was fun.
Hello everyone, Olivia here. Thank you for watching as always. My $5 and up patrons for June 2024 are Michael Bradley, Jordan A, Sam3824, Clarice Carlson, Nico Fuentes, Joel999, Speak of the Joker, Randos, Lobsterite, Mara Geek, Mead Marmalade, Silverwind, Toby White, Skanot On, Happy the Knife, Coolest Shirt, www.openclassactions.com, Emil, Blank, Judah McKinslayer, T King, Sliv88, Electrica as an Ordinary Bad Gamer, Yup, the Super One Player, Gabriel Herrera, and Lemonade Warrior is participating in the hit game Among Us and is considered the Encroacher. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Stay safe out there.